Hey guys, HDvee here and welcome to a brand new video. Today we've got a ton of new information to go over. We have new Pokemon form hints, we also have new updates and leaks for the next Nintendo Direct happening next month. There's a lot of things to get into today. If you're excited for the video, drop a like down below, leave a comment, subscribe if you're brand new, and let's get into the video. So, starting things off, let's go over some new Nintendo Direct updates and something that we could very well see announced in next month's Direct. So we have Go Nintendo tweet here, tweeting out saying, rumor, a Nintendo game code named Banquet could be in development. So if we go to this page here, it says hopefully we'll see it in next month's Direct. So famed game leaker Midori, who of course has a very good track record with leaking Sega and Atlas games, says has largely gained a following thanks to their accurate leaks about Atlas games such as Persona 3, Reload, and Shin Megami Tensei V, Vengeance. But as of late, they've been sharing a lot of information on Nintendo. Last week, they shared that a game with the codename Banquet was in development, and today they've added a couple new details. So, a game is in development at Nintendo with the codename Banquet. This is a title that appears to be in development by ND Cube and a developer known as Smile Boom. So, ND Cube is primarily known for developing every Mario Party title since 9. Super Mario Party, in particular, had Smile Boom's assistance and the similar codename of Buffet. So it seems like we're probably looking at a follow-up to their 2018 Mario Party title rather than 2021 Superstars. Hopefully we hear more about this game soon, perhaps in the already confirmed June 2024 Nintendo Direct. So this is very likely whatever they're working on, whether it is Superstars or whatever Mario Party, it's very likely to be announced in next month's Direct. Next month's Direct is probably going to just be remasters, remakes, ports, everything like that. I think it's very unlikely to see like a brand new game announced because the Switch 2 is so close. So if they were going to bring out a new game, it would just be for the Nintendo Switch 2. So next month's Direct is primarily just going to be remakes and remasters and ports and stuff like that. And this is a remaster that they are working on. So it's very likely that this gets announced in next month's Direct, as well as any other hopeful remasters that might be on the way. We're all hoping for Colosseum, Gales of Darkness, Wind Waker, Twilight Princess. All of these could potentially be in the cards. You never know. I mean, Wind Waker and Twilight Princess are a lot more likely because they've been rumored to be getting a remake for the Switch for years and years. So it could finally happen now. But this Mario Party sort of Superstars or whatever is very likely to be announced in next month's Direct. So if you're a massive fan of Mario Party, we should be getting something related to that kind of franchise in next month's Direct. Moving on, we have a cool new Pokemon form hint to go over. Whether this was a scrapped form or what is yet to be seen, but it's a really cool kind of like find here from Soul Silver Art saying, oh, by the way, the Pokemon Manga also had what is almost a terraform of Sudowoodo in the latest book. Of course, the manga and anime have funky forms all the time. Just look at the kind of fusion of the legendary birds and stuff like that. That are not canon to the mainline games, but it'd be cool if this was originally at least an idea they had for Scarlet and Violet 2. So as you can see, the Sudowoodo looks completely different to what we're used to. Obviously, the grass is a little bit different on its head, and the body shape is a tiny bit different, and obviously around the eyes and stuff. But yeah, it could have been something they were originally planning for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Again, as we know, a lot of things were scrapped in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, especially the DLC. So I wouldn't be surprised if things like this were also scrapped. Because again, I don't know if they were rushed or whatnot, but either way, a lot of things were just cut from the games at the end. But yeah, this potentially could have been something that was going to be in Scarlet and Violet. We might know in the future, but as of right now, obviously it's just a hint or a rumor, whatever you want to call it. But that's just something cool that was obviously shown off in the manga. We also have this post here by Light referencing this mythical gorilla that we may or may not get in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet at some point down the line. It's getting less and less likely as time goes on. But either way, this is just something that they've posted about, saying, in the Guardian of Area Zero is finally the gorilla, which again could potentially be the mythical Pokemon that we have talked about so much and is based on Kintaro, the golden boy. What better way than to give him an axe with the power of lightning as its folklore? So it could be like normal electric or electric, I don't know, fighting or something like that for this mythical gorilla Pokemon, especially if it has an axe. And it has a bit of kind of evidence behind why it would have an axe as well. As we read on, it says, as it would represent the Kaiju Kong, this one carries an axe in the Kong vs. Godzilla movie. This axe is made up of a scale from Godzilla and a bone from an unidentified Kaiju. And what better idea than that our mythical Pokemon has the same one, but made with the tusk of Great Tusk and the scale of Iron Thorns. thus would represent the guardian and peacemaker between the Paradox Pokemon, and making him electric fighting as their secondary types would be perfect, too good to be true. So again, with the kind of lore and stuff around the legendaries on Scarlet and Violet, it would be kind of cool to see this sort of gorilla mythical Pokemon holding this electric axe. It just looked really, really cool. Again, not a lot of Pokemon out there have actual weapons, but a mythical Pokemon holding like an electric axe would be really, really cool to see, in my opinion. Again, unlikely. I don't even know if we're going to get this mythical, if it's even going to be this gorilla ape kind of Pokemon. We don't know. Again, Riddler-Ku has spoken about a mythical Pokemon countless times, so whether that is the Pokemon that he's referencing or whether it's been scrapped as well, because as I say, a lot of things have been scrapped in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. It's unlikely. If we're going to find out soon, maybe in the next Pokemon Presents, who knows, but maybe it's going to be a DLC event, maybe it's going to be a little code that we just get, as we've had for other mythicals. It would be cool if it was like a Terra Raid battle, and they just gave it us through that, because that was a really cool event that we got for the Zeraora, especially for the shiny one as well, so hopefully they do something like that again. Again, very unlikely, but we'll see if Pokemon are going to cook up something good with this extra mythical Pokemon that we're apparently going to be getting on the horizon. But as of right now, we can just guesstimate what it's going to be. It's just this gorilla has the biggest kind of mystery surrounding it, so maybe it's that, maybe it's not. We'll hopefully have to wait and see. So that's all of that. Finishing things off for today's video, though, we do have a new Nintendo Direct rumor to go over that was posted on 4chan. This was posted on the 17th of May, and it was titled Nintendo Direct Leaked by Anonymous. Now, of course, this was posted on 4chan, so take it with a massive grain of salt. We don't know if it's true or not. Obviously, we don't have to wait that long until the Nintendo Direct is announced, because they did say already that it's going to be in June. But this one is giving us the release date of it, or the announcement of it, and also the kind of games that we're expecting to be seeing in this Direct as well. So, as I say, take it with a grain of salt. We don't have to wait too long to find out, but this is something that potentially could be what we're seeing for the Nintendo Direct. So, another early morning Direct. So, it's Tuesday, June the 11th at 10 a.m. EST, 7 a.m. PST, and then 3 p.m. BST. So, that is the normal timing of these Nintendo Directs. They've done their research, they've done their reading, they have got that right. That is the usual time these Nintendo Directs do go live. Because it's always really nice for me, because it's in the middle of the day, 3 p.m, absolutely glorious. But yeah, no, it's super early for other people. It's an hour after the Pokemon Presents usually go live. But either way, those are the timings. And Tuesday, June the 11th is, it's not next Tuesday, it's not the Tuesday after that, but it's basically 2 weeks on next Tuesday. So yeah, that's apparently when this Nintendo Direct is going to be happening. So very port / remake heavy, don't expect much, which again is I think that's what we need to expect going into this. If this is like real or not is besides the point. I think we have to go into this Direct expecting no brand new kind of game. They're all going to be remasters, remakes, and ports, because you have to think the Switch 2 is coming out next year. Why would they release a brand new Pokemon, a brand new game for the Nintendo Switch when they can just release it for the Switch 2 as one of the launch games next year? So that's why it's going to be very port, remake heavy. And again, that's what we've already had this year as well. Mario 1000 Years Doors, even though that was a remaster, it's done really, really well. Like the ratings for it have been incredibly high. Obviously, we've got Luigi's Mansion as well. We had another kind of remaster, whatever, Mario vs Donkey Kong. Obviously, Peach Showtime was something new, but yeah, the games coming out in the latter half of this year, I'd expect to be mainly remasters, remakes, ports, and stuff like that. So the first one is Cold Open: Fire Emblem Echoes War of Genealogy, Fire Emblem 4 remake for early December. And again, the Direct is only going to be going over games coming out this year, so you'd expect everything to get announced in June to be coming out this year. There might be a couple, like, if they're talking about the fiscal year, so it'd be coming out, like, maybe next January, February, March. But as of kind of what we know from now, it's just going to be, like, coming out this year. It says NSO updates for Game Boy, Game Boy Advance, and Nintendo 64. So this would be obviously massive, because the Game Boy games and the Game Boy Advance games, if we do get, like, ports and stuff for that, then it's even more likely that maybe we get something Pokemon, because Riddler-Ku did say that we weren't going to get anything new this year, you know, just to focus on Pokemon Pocket, but there was also something coming out this year that was going to empty our wallets. So the only thing that I can possibly think of would be ports, because they're not something new, but they are something that everyone's going to want to buy, which would empty our wallets. It's really weird what Riddler-Ku's kind of telling us right now. He's very much contradicting himself. He's saying something is coming this year, and then he's saying something isn't coming this year. Something's going to come that's going to empty our wallets, and then something isn't going to come. He just keeps going back and forth. But the fact that something is coming this year to empty our wallets, but it's not something new, I feel like would have to be ports. and that would be really, really good for Pokemon. And then if we do get ports, that kind of softens the blow of no new Pokemon game this year, because if we get ports of Red, Blue, Yellow, Gold, Silver, Crystal, Fire Red, Leaf Green, Sapphire, Emerald, Ruby, if we get ports of all of these games, then I think that's enough to tie us over, because that's loads of Pokemon games to play on the Nintendo Switch. If we get all the events for them as well in like Fire Red and Leaf Green and Emerald and stuff, that's even better. And it would just be, yeah, it'd be a way for them to make money for the Christmas sales whilst also not really having to work too hard, because it's very easy to port over those Game Boy games onto the Switch. It's literally super, super easy. It'd be a little bit more difficult for like DS games and stuff, because obviously it's like 2 screens and everything. But for the Game Boy Advance games and the Game Boy games, it's very, very simple. So yeah, if we, I'm hoping that we do get that announced in the Nintendo Direct as well. And again, if we do get it announced, they're probably just going to go over it more in the Pokemon Presents. But either way, fingers crossed we do get something like that if there's no new Pokemon game this year. Then goes on to say, GBA Sonic Adventure Trilogy, Zero Missions, and Wario Land 4. For the Nintendo 64, we're getting Banjo-Tooie, Diddy Kong Racing, and Smash 64. I'd love to get Diddy Kong Racing, such a good game growing up, and then Smash 64 is also like just such a throwback. Yeah, they're all the ports for the Game Boy Advance games and also Nintendo 64. Some good options there, especially with like Wario Land 4 and Sonic Adventure Trilogy, really, really good. And then a big announcement is Pokemon is coming to the Game Boy, but unfortunately being drip fed. So red, blue, gold, silver only, no yellow, crystal, or Gen 3. So yeah, that's the thing. Like, that would be the scary thing. If we only get red, blue, gold, and silver, it would be a little bit anticlimactic, because we already got those for the 3DS. I feel like if they were gonna port the games onto the Switch, they have to include Fire Red, Leaf Green, Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald. But yeah, that's the thing. That's the worrying thing. But again, this is, like I say, just a rumor at the end of the day. But with what Ridley Koo has said, I'm kind of more hopeful for ports this year, especially with Direct just being about remakes, remasters, and ports and stuff like that. But either way, in this rumor, it does talk about Pokemon. The only thing is, it's just Ruby, it's just Red, Blue, Gold, and Silver, which again, not as good as what could be. Then goes on to say, Hi-Fi Rush. The Direct thanks their friends at Microsoft, which is kind of coming July. And then Sonic Rush Trilogy, so Rush Adventure, Colors DS in a pack. More info on Luigi's Mansion 2 HD, revealing they added Gooigi into the game to make it 2-player, a la the 3DS remake. A port of the 3DS remake of Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga coming in September. And then Shinya Takahashi and Shintaro Furukawa come on screen and say they have nothing to say about the Switch 2, but more news will come later this year. Mentions Metroid Prime 4 will be cross-gen, teases more Metroid news. I mean, I could see them doing something like that, just kind of like revisiting the Nintendo Switch 2, but being like, you know, it is coming this year, not giving us any like announcement date or anything. They've already said that there's not going to be anything about the Switch 2 in the Direct, but they could still come out and be like, don't forget, we're getting this big console coming out to you very, very soon. So that is still something that I could see, but I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't do that. That is just something that I could potentially see happening. Silk Song gets a surprise trailer, should be coming in fall. So obviously this is something that a lot of people have been waiting for a very, very long time. So potentially could get something in the Nintendo Direct. Pizza Tower port, don't know why they put these two in a normal Direct instead of Indie World. Probably just for, if this is true, just for probably to make the Direct longer, because again, there's only so many things they can port and remaster that people actually want. So yeah, just putting this stuff in just makes obviously people watch longer, I guess. Metroid Prime 2 Remastered, Shadow Drop, Prime 3 Remastered announced as well, but will come in August, so very Metroid inspired this Direct would be. Yakuza 0, Kiwami 1, and 345 HD coming to the Switch. Sega is probably saving ports of the Dungeon Engine games for the Nintendo Switch 2. And then Persona 3 Reload coming spring 2025. It looks really rough, worse than Persona 5 our Switch, but will probably launch with the Switch 2. And then Ionuma comes on the screen and thanks the audience for Tears of the Kingdom doing so well. Says he has a couple of Zelda announcements. So Wind Waker and Twilight Princess HD completely separate, both $50. Wind Waker in July and then Twilight Princess in October. And then Zelda Protector of Hyrule, a Zelda spin-off where Zelda has to face Ganon herself and after Link has fallen, using original designs coming in spring 2025, likely cross-generation. Obviously, we're expecting Breath of the Wild to get a port on the Nintendo Switch 2 because of the latest leaks and stuff, but again, because that is a Switch 2, you wouldn't expect that to get announced in that, in this. This will literally be everything left until the Switch 2 launches, so yeah, I mean, this is a lineup that I could definitely see happening. Obviously, they don't go into detail about this kind of Mario Party thing that we've already covered, so that might be a little bit of a red flag regarding this rumor. But at the end of the day, a lot of these things I definitely could see like announced, especially with like the Pokemon ports and stuff like that. You know, Wind Waker and Twilight Princess heavily rumored to be getting something as well. And then the rest of them, like Metroid and stuff, and more kind of ports for Nintendo Switch Online with GB, GBA, Nintendo 64, stuff like that. It's likely. I'm not saying this is true at all. I'm just saying that I wouldn't be surprised if this did end up to be true with this kind of lineup. But let me know your thoughts on it. Is this something you would be happy to see in the Nintendo Direct? Would you want more? Would you obviously want something else to be announced? Again, the Pokemon thing is a little bit unfortunate, but it is what it is. It is what it is at the moment, and we'll have to wait and see. Again, we don't have to wait too long, and I think if we do get ports this year, they are likely to be announced in the Nintendo Direct, because we obviously got the DLC for Scarlet and Violet. A little bit more of information of that was in the last like big Nintendo Direct that we got before the DLC came out. So Pokemon is still possible to be in a Direct. I know it's more likely to be in a Presents, but it is still possible to be in a Direct. And yeah, if we don't get a Pokemon Presents till August, then it would be nice to see something for Pokemon in this Direct that is obviously happening this year. But either way, let me know your thoughts on all of this as well. Do you think it is true or not? Let me know your thoughts on the Mario Party thing as well. And then, of course, let me know your thoughts on this potential Sudowoodo form. And then also the Mythical Pokemon stuff as well. But that's going to be everything from me. If you enjoyed, drop a like down below. Let's try and hit 500 likes. Leave a comment. Subscribe if you're brand new. Ring the notification bell. And until next time, have a great rest of your day. And peace.